Do it. Great day, great day. You are now tuning into How You Holding Up, the podcast, and I am your host, Brooklyn Boone. Today, we have yet again another special guest, retired mixed martial art fighter, licensed self-defense trainer, Josh, aka Fireball. My brother,
What's going, bro?
how you holding up?
All good, baby. All good.
Yes,
Alive
sir.
and breathing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where are we right now? Where are we? For the people who don't know about the surrounding, where are we? What are we doing here?
So right now we are at round 5 MMA, and this is the spot where I'm going to be over here coaching alongside Coach Caesar and a great locker room of fighters. Yeah, we got
Yes,
a lot of good guys coming up and hungry, ready to get to work.
Okay, beautiful. Now, you are also a personal trainer, right? Now, you teach the classes and you also teach individuals.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you don't have to be a professional. We teach all levels.
Okay.
From kids to adults who just want to learn self-defense to competitors.
Listen, personally, as a man, our job is to provide and protect. If you want to learn how to protect in addition to provide, I suggest you contact my guy Fireball here. I will provide the information necessary in order for you to reach out. You see what's going on here? Round 5, we're here in Hialeah. Now, let's get straight to the business, man. How long have you been a professional MMA fighter for?
So I turned professional in 2009.
Okay.
2009, and fought all the way through. Maybe about 5 years ago, I kind of stopped competing.
Okay.
But continued to train, and now switched over to the coaching aspect, and now I'm just passing down the skills that were given to me.
So what actually got you into not only training, right, but competing? Because some people like myself, I just want to make sure I'm sharp, right? But you took it a step further by becoming a pro fighter. What made you decide, you know what, I love the sport, let's do it. If I'm gonna do it, let's go all the way with it?
It's a wild story. So pretty much when after I graduated high school, or not even graduated, because I ended up dropping out.
Okay.
And kind of had no direction, didn't know like what I was gonna do with my life. Obviously, the military was always an option and whatnot.
Ooh.
But I was ready to roll. I would say one of my brothers talked me out of it. Because there was that high time of they were in wartime and everything. So I understand.
Yeah.
What he was going through. He didn't want that for his little brother. So kind of took his advice and tried to stay home and do something else.
Okay.
And I ended up getting into martial arts, and kind of walked by a gym one day and saw that they had a boxing ring, and was like, hey, let me check this out. But I didn't know it was mixed martial arts.
Right.
And I got flipped on my head, and I was like, I have to learn this sorcery,
Right.
Yeah. So ever since then, I started to train. It got to a point where my coaches, saw that I was at a certain level, and they asked me to compete.
Okay.
I started off in a grappling tournament, did like a little jujitsu style tournament, and then went on from there. I didn't really like jujitsu too much. I like to punch people.
Okay.
If I was fighting. Yeah. No grappling. But yeah. So from there, I took my first couple kickboxing fights and continued on. And it got to a point where I was, winning. And I was on a win streak. I got to one fight where I got a head kick knockout in 43 seconds. So it was like very impressive, for the promoters that were there. The promoter that was there was Howard Davis Jr. Rest in peace to him.
Wow.
And if you guys don't know who that is, go ahead and look him up. He's a legend in the boxing and MMA world. And he gave me an opportunity to fight pro. And I went from there and went on a tear. And I went 4-5-0
Nice.
until I took my first loss.
Wow. So your overall record is or was what?
I finished off as 5-3.
Yeah,
5-3 in MMA.
it's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Not too bad.
So how'd you get the name Fireball?
That was from coaches and everybody else. So there's if you know mixed martial arts, there's a Japanese fighter, another legend, Takanori Gomi.
Okay.
His nickname was the Fireball Kid.
Okay.
So I was like, man, this is so cool. Blah blah blah. He's in Japan. He's never come to America.
Right.
It was a setup on me. So Fireball is perfectly fine.
Yes, sir. It's stamped. It's stamped. It's stamped. It's stamped. It's stamped. This is Fireball.
Yeah, that was how I pretty much got the name with that one. I tried to mimic his style a lot, and just go from there.
Okay. What is one of the biggest takeaways that you have learned out of all the years that you have practiced, trained, competed, fought, and also taught? Because you have longevity in this game. I mean, you said you turned pro 2009, right?
Yeah.
That's 16 years ago, man.
Yeah.
That's longevity.
Seen a lot.
In this
seen
sport, a lot, done a lot.
They call it the hurt business, and it's not because of the fighting.
Wow.
There's a lot of the inside, the background, the contracts, the deals, the this, the that. That usually tears a fighter up more than the actual fighting.
Right.
So, just the biggest takeaway I can say is learning to control your mind, being not just physically fit, but mentally fit, and also spiritually. Making sure you're right with whatever you believe in.
So how do you suppose the viewer, listener, actually go about enhancing their mind? Because, man, I've had this conversation time and time again. We can know or learn how to fight physically, but spiritually and emotionally, we might not know how to defend ourselves. So being a mixed martial art trainer, what do you suppose?
I think it all works hand in hand. The spiritual, the mental, the physical. If you're lacking in one, you're going to lack in each other. I think they all three have everything to do with each other. So the more you kind of throw them all into the mix of just working on it all, the physical, when you're physically fit, you have a sharper mind, you're able to think more clear. So then that brings more mental clarity. Then your mind's good. When your mind's good, your body's right, then your spirit will be good, So it's just, if you're making the right decisions mentally, then, your spirit will ends up being good. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like that works all, hand in hand, it just comes back around. Kind of like that yin and yang,
Right.
Good and evil, everything has a balance.
Right. I've actually recently started looking further into it, right? Because it's easy for a person to have road rage because somebody cut them off. Well, as long as you're safe, no one was injured, your car is intact, you're not injured or anything like that, you should be fine, right? So that's how easy it is if you aren't well equipped in your mind, because if something like that can throw you off, like I get it, right? We have irresponsible drivers. We can be irresponsible as well.
They piss me off all the time.
right. Listen,
but it's how you respond. Yeah, it's how you respond. It's having emotional control and emotional clarity.
Exactly.
Having a good mind, you'll have that emotional clarity.
And even with that, when it happens, it's like, you know what? I'm not even tripping about that no more because I'm good, and then you let it go. That's where I knew that I started maturing with my spiritual, in addition to just trying to be consistent with physically training, right? Because like you said, it goes hand in hand. Yes, sir. So 2025, this is a new year that we are currently in. Praise be to God, because I don't think without him, I wouldn't have made it here, right? A lot of people can, say that, but for you, how do you feel about that?
I'm not the perfect person for religion. I'm big on spirituality in the sense of
relationship.
Yeah, having a relationship with that higher power.
Okay.
I was always kind of turned away from going to church in that sense, and that pushed me from religion, but it should have never pushed me away from God. You know what I'm saying? So like I've learned eventually to kind of come back to that, having that relationship, that spiritual relationship versus having to go to a church and be around this and be around that, and having some people preach to me that I seen in the club when I used to work the clubs, that type. So that's the thing that kind of pushed me away at in that sense for the religious aspect. And I had to learn how to differentiate those type of things. But I gotta say I'm blessed in that sense. There's a lot of things that have gone wrong in my life, but there's also the bigger picture when you step back that a lot of things have gone right.
Right.
And no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm healthy.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people I know didn't make it to 2025. So
yes, sir.
I definitely got to take that as a blessing.
Now, you said something earlier in our conversation. You said yin and yang, right? You also mentioned that you kind of stepped back from the faith and following God. And I think some, if not most or all of us, have had a moment like that in life, right? But that's exactly why Jesus Christ came. So he provides that salvation for us, right? You said earlier about the yin and yang, the light and the darkness. I think that darkness has to happen. We have to see what it's like when God isn't present. So when we do realize we need his presence, it's like, I don't know how.
Awakening.
Right. I don't know how I've made it this far without your love. But the good thing about God is he always welcomes us in, right? And you also mentioned that not going to church. I'm not really a big church goer, but I'm starting to understand about community. We need brothers and sisters, but us as men, we need brothers who can. One of the men's ministry that I currently go to in Kindle, they said, we're not going to we're not going to take the weight off your shoulders. No, we're not going to do that. We're here to spot you, right? So we need that community because iron sharpens irons, just like if you're a fighter in the ring or the square, wherever you are, whichever self-defense you're in, you need that coach that's in your ear. He's observing. Listen, this is what you can do. This is what you need to do, right? So I think community is very important, man. Yes, sir.
Better picture from the friends around you seeing it than like your coach. People get caught up in the battle, in the fog of war. That's how it is, man. Believe that, bro.
Yes, sir.
I definitely believe that.
And because some of us don't know how to fight physically, we lose spiritually, and because some of us don't know how to fight spiritually, we also lose physically.
I definitely understand that in that sense, because there's you guys know who you are if you ever see this, because those people I've been lost in that fog of war, and there was certain people who stuck around. You know how it is when you're winning, everybody's around, and when you're on that losing streak, that's life, man. But that's how you do it. You learn, you live and learn.
Yes, sir.
That's it, man. That's
so with that being said, how you holding up?
I'm good. I'm driven. I'm driven. This year I had a lot of things go wrong, especially like career wise, because again, this is what I do here is they call it a hobby, especially if you're not doing it full time,
Right.
But I've been doing this for so long. I'm not giving it up, and I still have been. Even I'm doing it part time, working full time jobs. I'm still doing it as a full time coach because I'm involved with my fighters' lives, and we're constantly working and winning championships, and we're doing it right, So I gotta say, with everything that has gone wrong, like I said, we got a lot of things that are about to go right. I gotta be hopeful and have a good, positive vision for what's about to come.
That brings great delight and joy to me, man. I love when I can ask people that question, but because you are so resilient and you have so much perseverance, you choose not to give up because, like you said, so many things have gone right. But your perspective is, I know they're about to go right though.
Yeah, you gotta keep fighting. It's life is a fight.
Yes, sir.
I look at everything as in a fighter's mentality, and I know it's funny because like that fighter's mentality is different if you've never done this or been in this sport. you got to understand that it's assault forward. Like you're gonna take lickings, life's gonna beat you up, but you got to bite down on that mouthpiece and go forward. Unless they sleep you.
Yeah. They do that. Wake back up, man.
Then you dead. Right, but you just got to keep assaulting forward, man. Keep that fighter mentality, and
Yes, sir.
just go about your day.
So, what are you looking forward to most this year? Because you spoke highly of what's to come, right? Without giving away too much, because that's another topic of conversation, but without giving away too much, because I want to see you prevail without having to broadcast it. Just let the results show, as you always do and always have. What are you looking forward to most this year to accomplish?
One thing I gotta say is venturing off more into the self-defense realm
Okay.
with my firearms classes.
Mhm.
I think that's a big deal now because I've done competition and just normal martial arts all my life, but not everybody can fight physically.
Right.
So this is the other martial art aspect to it. I've been shooting all my life and training all my life. I've done lots of tactical work, between working security and everything like that. And it's something that I can feel I can pass down, to the people who can't step into the gym and physically throw down, especially like women's self-defense classes and things like that. The world is getting more dangerous every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's our sword now. The firearm.
So there's two things I do want to comment on based off your last statement. First thing is, I definitely want to encourage you guys to learn physical self-defense first before join a firearm, right? Because if you live in a state like we do where open carry or concealed carry is legal, if you aren't carrying it, your first thing that you should learn how to do is use your fist.
Use your
So I
hands, yeah.
highly recommend you guys learn some form of self-defense when it comes to either mixed martial arts like boxing, MMA, Jujitsu, whatever the case may
So
be.
that's some of the classes that I offer.
Right.
Doing level 1 is more to hand stuff, and then level 2, level 3 is when we start getting to the firearms and mostly just the safety. Especially the safety. Firearm safety is crucial.
Right.
We hear way too many young kids and everything like that getting killed in their house because a gun's left loaded on a table, and irresponsible gun owners. That's always the biggest issue that I really like to attack is just safety.
Right.
But everything else after that, again, being physically fit and everything like that, when you know how to use your hands and you have open-handed skills, you're not automatically going to go to a firearm.
Right.
And that goes with policing as well. That I coach police officers and teach police officers as well. You got to have open-handed skills, and be physically fit.
You might not always have a chance to get to it. So I'm saying,
learn how to hold on to it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's also what we do,
So I advise you guys. YouTube has a lot of people who are doing the training, but it is best to actually get some one-on-one coaching. This way, a trained professional like Fireball can actually observe, analyze, critique, and also assist you with being your best self. Second thing is, man, I want to say this before we close. You and I worked together. Wasn't very long, but I have to say this, man. When you meet genuine people, this guy was welcoming, so welcoming, man, especially with the position that he had and probably moved up in the rank because it's been a year and a half, going on 2 years now, man. This guy was down to earth, humble, willing to teach, but not teach in a jackhammering way. Like, you got some people who coach you differently, but just off initial contact, hey, I'm such and such. This is what we do. I'm going to show you what it is that we do. Very well-mannered, very open, and again, just very welcoming. So I do appreciate you for being hospitable, man, and super professional. So I wouldn't suggest you guys learn from anybody or receive anyone's service if I personally haven't experienced it myself. And this brother here, I definitely can vouch for him, man. So before we go, is there anything that you want to tell the audience watching, or just remind them where they can find you on social media, if you have a website or just anywhere where they want to be assisted, where they want to learn from you.
Got you. So if you guys want to come check me out, you can check me out at Fireball MMA 3 at Instagram. Shoot me a message, or the Fireball Kid 3. Both pages are part of my gym. So shoot me a message on there. Come try out our class. I always do a week trial for free, and we just go from there. I just encourage everybody to train and get out, do work, man. Because nobody's coming to save you.
Right.
It's a tough world out there,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Make sure you train your hips, hip strengthening. Make sure you stretch, because I trained with this guy one time, and I'm like, oh, hold on, man.
Mobility is the most important thing you can possibly do for yourself.
If you haven't learned anything from us, start with that until you're able to actually get you some classes and courses, man. It's important. But you guys have tuned into yet again another successful and wonderful interview on How You Holding Up, the podcast. If you haven't asked somebody, make sure you ask somebody. And of course, I'm asking you. So comment below. How you holding up? It's your guy, Brooklyn Boom, Fireball. Until next time, we out. Let me see a combo. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Exclusive. Yes, sir.